So Serena Williams had an embarrassing temper tantrum at the U.S. Open, but although Serena should be condemned for her behavior, how strange is it that the usual suspects are training their collective sights on an Australian cartoonist instead? In case you missed the U.S. Open Women's Final, it was something to see. Serena Williams had a meltdown for the ages. Serena screamed, she cried, she smashed her tennis racket. Now, I get it that an athlete in a high-stakes game can lose it, and surely tennis fans recall the classic outbursts of John McEnroe, Jimmy Connors, and Ilie Nastase. But I think Serena ventured into crazy town when she continually badgered umpire Carlos Ramos, accusing him of being a thief and for being sexist for, well, just doing his job by calling the game in accordance to the rules. Serena emerged as a world-class sore loser, but she seems to be getting a free pass given that so many of the jock sniffers in the sports media business are going to bat for her, because I guess if you have the temerity to criticize a black female athlete, not only are you going to be labeled sexist, but racist to boot. Indeed, a fascinating sidebar story to Serena's temper tantrum has emerged. Namely, an Australian newspaper, the Melbourne-based Herald Sun, published this editorial cartoon of Williams. It pretty much captures Serena's frame of mind that day, and it sure gave me a good belly laugh. But cartoonist Mark Knight is now being branded as a racist. Evidently, if you exaggerate the physical features of a person, this is obviously motivated by racism as opposed to parody. But the editorial cartoon has forever existed as a medium that exaggerates. That's its very bailiwick. Yet the social justice warriors, empowered by the virus of political correctness, are apparently now coming after political cartoons, just as they've come after other non-PC zones such as roasts and stand-up comedy. These people seemingly hate fun. And so it was that the usual suspects condemned the cartoon. My favorite tweet of outrage was from Reverend Jesse Jackson, who stated, quote, "This despicable cartoon tried and failed to diminish the greatness and grace of Serena Williams. Racism in any form is unacceptable," end quote. Yeah, racism in any form is unacceptable. Is this the same guy who referred to New York City as Jaime Town? The cartoon also drew the ire of the U.S.-based National Association of Black Journalists, who called it, quote, "unnecessarily Sambo-like," end quote. The National Association of Black Journalists. You know, I wonder how open they'd be to welcoming an Asian or white journalist into their fold. Yeah, no segregation to see here, folks. Move along. In any event, because this is 2018, here's how this story is supposed to unfold. The cartoonist is supposed to be fired and then shunned, and the paper is supposed to deliver a groveling apology, and then everyone else on staff is supposed to take mandatory sensitivity training. But guess what, folks? This story actually has a happy ending because none of that PC crap transpired. Rather, the Herald Sun raised a metaphorical middle finger to its critics by actually reprinting the Serena cartoon, and on the front page, no less, as part of a collage of other political cartoons that also made use of exaggerated features of public figures. The paper also came to the defense of its cartoonist, stating, quote, "If the self-appointed censors of Mark Knight get their way on his Serena Williams cartoon, our new politically correct life will be very dull indeed," end quote. Bingo! In fact, what are political cartoonists supposed to do to appease their critics? Depict public figures as generic stick figures? Or are they to embrace a no visible minorities rule when it comes to cartooning? Give me a break. So hats off to the Herald Sun for having the testicular fortitude to stand up to those who would want to further quash free speech. And if anyone should be apologizing for anything, surely it's Serena Williams, that needs to offer a mea culpa to umpire Carlos Ramos for behavior that was off the charts egregious. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, the Rebel has a new app. Please download that app and take the Rebel with you wherever you go.